There are so many ways to mix vocals nowadays, and a lot of them are like 10 plus plugins just stacked on top of each other. And it doesn't have to be like that. You could get a great vocal mix in just one plugin. Today, I want to show you guys how to use Gamma to mix your vocals in a deathcore song. Let's hop into the DAW and get started. Alright, so I have a mix here in Reaper today. I think this is the first Reaper video I have on this channel, so that's exciting. This song is called Failure by my band Killshot, so we're going to be mixing my vocals today. And let's just hear how the instrumental sounds first before we go into anything. So a very much deathcore song. Let's go over the vocals here. So all these green tracks are all my vocal tracks, and I cleared everything out, so they're all just blank. Let's see how they sound raw, just pushed up in the mix, fader balanced. These are just the mains going to, there's no doubles or layers going on. They sound good volume-wise, they're just kind of undercompressed and undercooked. So I'm just gonna load Gamma up. And I'm gonna solo vocals and hear what the stock preset does. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Alright, that sounds better just off the bat. I like to mix first with no ambience or width and then add that in later. So we're going to turn off our width, reverb, and doubler and see where that gets us. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies. Cool, that sounds honestly pretty close. The only thing I'm gonna probably tweak is the EQ, because the mic sounds pretty bright and balanced off the mic itself. So I don't feel like I need a low mid cut. I feel like I need a little bit more of a weight to these. So I'm just gonna boost that up down to like 150-ish and move this back to like 80. I'm trying to get all the weight I can out of these. They're a little thin of a type of vocal, so just trying to add more of that back in. Maybe I'll knock these back down. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies. That sounds pretty great to me. For this style and what I'm going for, I want it to sound like kind of ridiculous, where it's distorted and really in your face. So let's go for some more compression and then mess with the saturation down here. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void. Alright, so soft is still a little bit too tame for me, so I'm gonna go on hard mode and see how that gets us. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies. That's kind of closer to what I want. It's saying like 10 dB of compression there, but it's adding some distortion with this THD knob, and it sounds like a lot more. So I wouldn't take 10 dB as like that's the max amount it's doing. It's kind of adding a lot more than just 10 dB of compression. Let's knock on the saturation mode and see if we can get a little bit more ridiculous. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies. So that sounds too far. It sounds broken, and I like that, but I don't want it all the way. So I'm just going to use this mix slider to move it up and down. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. Sounds great. I'm gonna mess with the de-esser here. Cause right about it, I'm trace unreal.
Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar.
Then let's dial in the limiter here, which this is like your last stage of final leveling compression. Usually on chains, I'll have 2 to 3 stages of compression of my initial control. I will have a bulk of my compression going on, and then at the end, I'll have like my final pin of compression just to keep it at the same consistent volume.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies.
I'm going to try to level match where it was raw versus now, so we could, 1, compare, and 2, I kind of had the levels a good balance in the mix.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies.
Let's see how that sounds in the mix. This is just one main vocal on top of the whole mix session.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies. Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal.
That sounds really aggressive to me. I'm just using these output knobs and the ceiling knobs to kind of level the final output of the plugin, just to match the mix. Let's hear how this sounds bypassed in and out of the song.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies.
So that to me is a huge difference, especially on the high screams. I find like it's not compressed enough where I'm getting like ins and outs of the aggression. Whereas with this on, I feel like I have that TV static just constantly going and it sounds pissed off. So that is still without any ambience or any width. So let's add that in now. I'm just going to go back to soloed. Let's start with putting our pre-delay at like 20 milliseconds. For a basic understanding of what pre-delay is, it is how long the reverb waits to kick in. So say that you have 0 millisecond delay, then your reverb will be with your vocal at the same time. And that gives the illusion of pushing the vocal back into the mix. Whereas if you have a bit of pre-delay on it, then your vocal will still be up front, but you'll just have the ambience in the trails behind it, so that it just feels up front, but it's a bit more in the mix. Where if it's all the way down, then your vocal is just pushed back with the reverb. So I'll try about 20 there. I'm gonna try 20 on this one too. These are 2 different kinds of reverbs, and I'll see what they both sound like.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my... Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies. Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies. Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and I will never heal. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my altar lies. Cause I am burning up, trees.
Now that I had the reverb in, I kind of feel like the lower screams are a little bit muddy, so I'm just gonna knock this one back down just to flat, roughly, because I feel like it's a nice even volume with it off, but the high screams might need a little bit extra. But with our doubles and layers, maybe that's not the case. But with the reverb, it really brings out the low mid kind of mud with the vocals. So let's go on to delay, and we'll like go back and forth with these.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. Condensers and
I usually like to have a quarter note delay. I might not even use this other one though, because I just usually just have one delay.
Cause I am burning up, trees unreal. thirst and I will never yield. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lie. 'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never.
That sounds pretty good to me. Let's hear how it sounds in the mix. Again, this is just our main vocals, so we're gonna add doubles and layers to this.
'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never yield. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lie. 'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and 'cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never yield. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon.
That sounds pretty good to me. What I'm gonna do is just copy this to the double and hear how these sound together in solo.
'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never yield. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies.
I'm going to add to the double some doubling in width. I want my double to be a little bit wider, maybe a little bit more wet, because I want my main to be right down the center and a bit more clear and dry. So when you're hearing on your phone, it's very, what's the word, legible of what I'm saying, even though I'm screaming and nothing's really legible in this genre.
'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never yield. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies.
I don't really feel like the doubler's doing much. The width kind of adds like some stereo size to it. But with those stereo sides, say that my vocals aren't like 100% edited with the S's, which they might not always be able to be that tight. So what I'm going to do on the doubles is knock down the extreme top end because I don't want any kind of flamming on consonants up there. So we're going to change to a low pass filter. Go up pretty high, kind of match the de-esser a bit more.
'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never yield.
Sounds a bit dark, but I really don't want anything else out of them other than like some stereo width and then a little bit more of a thickening of the main vocal.
'Cause I am burning up, dreams unreal. Come and thirst and I will never yield. Scream into the void, my silence replies. You lie upon my eternal lies.
Nice. All right. I'm going to just copy paste those for our mains all the way through. I have this separated up in like a chorus main, then a breakdown main, because I do different styles and I might want to change that. So I'm just going to move my mains onto my mains and my doubles onto my doubles. So for everything but our layers, or actually the layers, I'll move the main vocal on. So there's all the mains and doubles. On my layers, I'll move the main vocal preset onto. Then looks like I have an Adlib track. I'll just move the same ones over and I'll adjust it later. So now they all have gamma on there. The double, I ended up at -7.5 dB, so I'll just roughly get all the other doubles up there. So let's hear some other parts.
So in my place, in this decay, I'm always out, places and age, please give me strength to be content, release me from my torment.
All right, so there's no layers there, but I know for the chorus, I might want a little bit extra ambience, so I'll knock this up a bit, knock my reverbs up a bit.
So in my place, in this decay, I'm always out.
So now my chorus is kind of mixed for the mains and doubles. Let's go to our breakdown parts.
He's into the void, in my fucking pain. Release the same thing for the gold things.
Here, I think I want the vocals to be drier, so I'm gonna mix the reverb and delay way down. Then I have another set of mains and doubles, which are these yells. Same thing, I might just copy over the breakdown main and doubles because I want them drier. Then also too, they could be a little bit brighter, I think. So I'm just gonna nudge up the main a bit brighter. Still a little bit too much reverb. Maybe I'll knock down the size of it so it's a little bit shorter. Same with the double. That's our mains and doubles mixed. Let's go to our layers here. Let's hear how they sound balanced wise. Be a bit louder. I'll just move all the layers up like 2.5 dB. Cool, it's here in the chorus. Make sure nothing jumps out. Sounds good there. Yeah, these all sound pretty good. Just copy paste it over. I have a few fun tracks. There's an Adlib here that has 2 parts. Yeah, so these are just to be kind of drier and lo-fied. So we're gonna turn off reverb, delay, add lo-fi here. Actually, there's probably a preset for this. We'll just knock a preset out. I got my own presets, but let's use something that's not mine. Thin lo-fi screams. Nice. No reverb, no delay, just dry. Maybe I will have some reverb and delay. It's a little too dry at the moment. Next part is this tag, which I already know is just a lo-fi, but absolutely no ambience. So we're just gonna take this, reverb, delay. Maybe we'll actually use a different preset. I kind of want this to be a lot more distorted. Here's how it sounds. Let's try Mike Skinner's distorted thing, because that could be pretty cool. Distorted lo-fi transition. Yeah, just no verb or delay or chorus or width. When this comes back in. Tiny bit too much hair. We'll just knock this mix back to like 80%. what we have left? We have pre-chorus vocals, which are talking, so barely vocals really, but we'll still take a listen. I know this first one is a vocoder, so it shouldn't need anything. It's like a print down. Yeah, nothing needed there. Our dry talking.
Broken promises and empty swears.
Right off the bat, it's too boomy, too forward, too much proximity. I want them lo-fied. Try a broken vocal mic from Isaiah.
Broken promises and empty swears.
I don't want delay. I want a little bit of reverb though.
Broken promises and empty swears. Another message, one more unanswered prayer.
Take a listen to these left rights. I think these are just the ending phrase.
One more unanswered prayer. Broken promises and empty swears. Another message, one more unanswered prayer.
Nice. That is all our vocal tracks. I want to go over one more thing. I know it's kind of a long video. I'm sorry. And that is some vocal throws and effects. So right to the breakdown, there's a reverse effect, which doesn't have anything. It just sounds like this. So that's printed down. I won't need to mix anything with that. So the way that I do vocal throws, like delay throws, is I just have another track and I copy paste parts of the main vocal or whatever part I want delayed, and I just put them up here. So dry, they're just the dry vocal. Bring over gamma to the throw. And this is what the throw is right here, this word.
Nice!
So that's just the main vocal there. So I don't want it to even start there. So I want us to be a quarter note, maybe a whole note throw. Throw the mix all the way up, feedback kind of up. So we're gonna move our delay over to past the compression and saturation, maybe before the de-essing too. So let's move de-essing over before the delay. And then our EQ is gonna be after the delay. Then have our reverb be last.
Nice!
Then for delay throws, you could have this throw button, which pretty much mutes the entire vocal right here, and then it only is audible on the delays. So that sounds pretty close. I do want a lot more reverb, and I want these back more, so I'll turn the pre-delay down and ducking down. Let's see how this sounds in the mix. So I actually want this to be a half note. Cool, let's check the other spots of this delay throw. Have it be quieter, a little bit less mids too. I have another throw here, which is just a different kind of throw, I believe. I just wanted to be more distorted. Throw that all the way up. Maybe a little bit less, like 80. Width on. I wanted to sound ridiculous. So let's see how this sounds in the mix now. Also, maybe I want this to be a whole note. Maybe a dotted half. Cool, that is the vocals mixed. So let's take a listen to the fun part here and see how it all sounds.
This history is just bound to repeat. Bury me 6 feet deep under concrete.
Gross. That's how I would mix with Gamma, and it sounds pretty great like that. Hope this has taught you guys how to mix deathcore vocals in general, and yeah, happy mixing.